Welcome back to Tax Hacks with Alli. I'm Alli, your tax professional. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about DIY taxes. So, doing your own taxes, do it yourself, DIY. So, when you're looking at doing your own taxes, whether it's because you need to save some money or yours are fairly easy, or you just don't know who you can use or who you can trust, or you kind of waited too long, I would say for some people, DIY taxes are just fine. There's a few companies out there that do have file for free platforms. I think TurboTax and IRS.gov. IRS even has you can file for free if you have under 79,000 of income. Certain people aren't going to fit well into that box, and certain people are going to fit just fine into those do yourself, file your own taxes on this free program, or a low cost program, do it at home. So TurboTax has a software where you can do the paid for version where you have a little more complexity, but you can do it at home. I do want to give a little bit of guidance on this, and that is that when you're doing your own tax return, there's a few things you need to be certain of. One, be certain you're clicking on the right place and you are at the right website, and you're not entering your individual personal data, your social security date of birth, your kid's social security date of birth, into a fraudulent website. So one, make sure you're in the right place. If they have a two-step authentication where you can put your phone number in and get a code sent to you, do that. That's just going to give additional security in case anybody tries to hack that program. So let's say somebody tries to hack TurboTax and now they're going to be trying to get into everybody's files. If you have that two-step authentication where you're going to get a code to log in every time you need to make a change to that tax return or continue working on it, then somebody that will make them less likely to be able to get into your account. So be careful where you're clicking to put on additional securities if you can. Be organized. So you need to keep a folder or file, you need to be your own tax professional, right? So you want to have, I usually do little check marks on my data when I've entered it, or I move it. If I'm going to keep it all electronic, I move it into a different folder that says already entered. So you already took care of that. Keep a copy of all your work papers. You are responsible to have a copy of your backup documents as well as a copy of your filed tax return. So you want to be sure that when you're done and you sign your documents, you and your spouse or yourself only, that you've reviewed it, you've tried to understand it the best you can. The softwares are going to ask you questions: name, address, date of birth. Do you have this type of income? Enter that income. Do you have this? Enter that. So it's going to kind of guide you through your deductions and things, and it should be pretty straightforward unless you have some more complex items. I would say if you have a W-2 or a couple of W-2s, you should be fine. If you have a little bit of interest and dividends, some social security income, pensions, you'll probably be fine. Where you're going to start becoming more complex is if you got a lump sum of social security. So you were trying to do your social security and they took a while to get it processed, and all of a sudden they give you a big lump sum. In the year you got the lump sum, you're going to have a bigger payment from Social Security. There's special tax handlings on that. If you have a small business, if you have a rental property, I would recommend you probably don't do it at home, because there's things you're just not going to know. And the programs are pretty good, but they are lacking, and you don't have access to somebody to talk to. And the other, let's see. So save your documents. You're responsible to save your backup documents. Those are called your work papers. You're responsible to keep a copy of your tax return. When you go and push file tax return on your software, you're going to have to come back into the software. They probably will send you an email, but I'm not 100% on that. So you're going to want to go log back in the next day and get your acknowledgement or your confirmation that it was filed. Because when we push file, it's just sending it off for us. It's not accepted. There might be something in there that's mixed up, a misspelling, or you transposed a number on your social security number, or who knows? So there could be something that kicks it back. So let's say your kids, your kid's in college and they filed their tax return on their own, you didn't know that, you had them on your tax return, when you go to file, it's going to called reject it. It's going to reject it or kick it back and not accept that tax return. And if that happens, you need to know. If you just push file and you walk away and think it's all done, it might not be filed and you might have a late tax return if you don't go back and check on it. So do go back and check, make sure, get your confirmation number that it has been e-filed, put that in with your final work papers and your copy of your tax return. And that's your kind of, you can close up the file at that point. If you're working on your tax return and something doesn't look right, you're not sure, contact a tax professional or do some of the help options in that DIY software. Or you can go on to irs.gov and look in their search bar and type in some of the items that you're questioning. You want to make sure you understand. You can get the instructions for the different forms there. And let's see. Also, you want to, okay, we're keeping a copy. You're checking on your e-file. Oh, if you need to do an extension. So you're not sure, something's not adding up, or you owe money and you're like, this, I'm not sure if I should be owing money. I thought everything was fine. Like the last year I didn't owe money. If you're running out of time, don't freak out. File an extension. Inside that DIY software, you should have an opportunity to do a 4868. That's an extension of time to file that gives you 6 more months. So our traditional due date is April 15th. You file that extension by April 15th. You should be able to e-file it, but if you can't, or in addition to that, if you're just a little bit like not sure, print it out, mail it into IRS. That is going to give you another 6 months to file that tax return. So it's going to give you time to reach out to tax professional or review your work again, make sure you're comfortable with the number you're coming up with. And so when all else fails, you're running out of time, you're kind of stressed out about it, you're not sure, don't call a tax person on April 10th and ask for free advice. No, we don't like that. We're busy. We're taking care of the clients who are going to pay us to do their taxes. So although we would love to give you that help, we can't help you April 10th. But May 10th, sure, I can take a half-hour call and explain to you why you might owe, or maybe even go in and review it with you and charge you a small fee for my time to review that self-prepared tax return. And then when you do start having a small business or rental property, or just a lot of income items, or start kind of being in the higher tax bracket where it might be helpful to have a tax professional, then you've leveled up. It's time to get a tax professional, hand off that task. Or if you find that you're losing sleep and just really stressed out about, like, I have to do my taxes, if you get somebody on your team and you let a professional do it, it might bring you some peace. So consider that. What's the value of that piece? Is it worth paying $500 or $700 for your tax return to be done? It might be. If you're not comfortable on the computer, if computer's kind of like, I don't know where I saved it, I don't know what buttons to push, that might be an indicator that you should have a tax professional take care of it. If you got an easier tax return, an H&R Block in your neighborhood probably can take care of helping you. A little more complex, you might want to reach out to a seasoned tax professional. Well, I hope this information's been helpful. Good luck on your tax returns out there, and you can do it. And when all else fails, call a professional. Thanks. Talk to you soon.